On the record in the matter of Credit Acceptance Corporation versus Jamal Tahir, file number is 16-03987 GCE. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Alexander Papa, PA 4378, appear on behalf of plaintiff.
Okay, and Mr. Tahir is present via Zoom. Mr. Tahir, do you have an attorney representing you at all? You're muted. You have to unmute. Yeah, you have to unmute.
Okay, I'm muted now. How you doing? How are you, Your Honor?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It could be better. I would like to have a chance to explain my side story, if you don't mind, Your Honor. With all due respect.
I don't mind at all. I just want you're representing yourself, correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you filed a motion or an objection, that is, to a garnishment. You stated here that the funds are exempt from garnishment by law. So can you explain?
Yes, ma'am. For the first time, as you can see, I just received this contract with the credit acceptance, and there's a fraud. There's a fraud involved when it comes to the down payment, that $1,800, and also I would like to review this case more with the with the Attorney General's office involved. They are reviewing this case because of in 2015 there was a car that I have test drive. It was 2009 Dodge Charger, black color, 100,000 mile on it. But I was told by the Riyadh Muhammad Michi, which is the dealer at that time, he told me that I can pick it up the car after they finish with the braking and the rotor. And a week later, he delivered the car, different car, which is 2006 and 177,000 miles, and it had a lot of issue in it. That's not the car that I signed. As you can see, Your Honor, I don't know if you can see my screen.
I didn't want to break your flow, but you keep holding up a document like I can see what you're holding up. I can't read that. I have no idea what you're holding up.
Yes, ma'am. You should have the copy of right there, the contract. See that? You don't see my signature. That's not my signature. I didn't sign for this car, Your Honor.
What? I don't have what's in your hand. What is that?
It's a contract was between about the car that they sued me for. But this is not even my signature.
Why do you believe that I have that? Did you file a copy of that with your objection?
Yes, ma'am. The court gave me this. The court gave me this because the credit acceptance wouldn't let me have this contract because they knew what they did is a fraud. So my point is the car was not repo because I didn't have the car. They gave me a wrong car, but not the car that I signed for.
Okay. I don't have whatever it is that you're showing. I don't have that in my file, so I don't know what that is, and I can't see just because you posted up to a camera. I can't read that. If you want to use something as an exhibit and show it to a court, you have to file it. That's what the court rules say. Okay.
Okay, but this is the court. Your court gave me the other day. This
I don't know who gave that to you. I don't have a copy of it in my file. Is what I'm saying. I have no idea who gave that to you or where it came from.
From the 54 the downtown court. I think the 54.
That's where we're located, but again, that's not in my file. So I can't tell you what that is.
Can you? I would like, Your Honor, with all due respect, please, can you review this because there's a fraud have been made out of this case.
I can't review anything that's through a computer. I can't review that. I don't have it.
Okay, is there any way we can have another appointment so I can show you face to face?
Your Honor, if I may.
Okay. You may.
On his original objection, he filed an objection saying that the funds were exempt, and he's not saying anything about any exempt funds. And furthermore, the funds aren't exempt. Second, right now he's attacking the underlying judgment, and I don't believe this is the appropriate motion for that.
Objection. How am I attacking I'm reporting the crime that the credit acceptance have done. This, I never had this down payment. 1,800, they put it here. This is a fraud, Your Honor. Fraud.
Okay. First of all, today was the date and time that was set for a hearing on an objection.
Yes,
Again,
ma'am.
and I stated that to you in the beginning. You filed an objection to a garnishment. You selected the option because it gives you 6 options. You selected the option that the funds or the property are exempt or protected from garnishment by law. Today is the day for you to tell me why, under the law, these funds are exempt. What you're saying to me, and I don't know if you have a pending matter with the Attorney General's office or not as it relates to fraud. If that's the case, what you're alleging is that the judgment is fraudulent.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're alleging.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is what Mr. Popoff is saying, is that you're attacking the judgment. You're saying it's fraudulent. And he is correct by law, and you should have reviewed the court rules before you filed this motion or the objection. It clearly states there you cannot use this objection to garnishment to attack the judgment. This is not the proper forum to do that, sir.
I apologize, Your Honor. With all due respect, this is my first time appearing about this case.
I recognize that.
They claim that they have served me, in which I was in Tennessee that time in 2016. I don't know who they served at that time. This is my first time ever obtaining this copy of their contract, and this is my first time ever appearing to you, Your Honor. And so I would like to have a chance before this individuals that they want to take our tax return. I have a wife that with breast cancer, her name Brittany, and I have a toddler. So there's no way I would pay for something that I never owned. And also they have made it a fraud right here. And I have a proof of this fraud. I'm not trying to attack the judgment, but one of my point is, they taking my money without me, my side of the story being even heard. The point I have here is, and they knew that they in 20 if you give me a chance, maybe 30 seconds, I can explain it to you very short.
I'm listening.
Yes, ma'am. So in 2015, there's a car that I test drive, which is 2009 Dodge Charger and a black color, and it had 100,000 miles on it. And by the time I signed, that's the car I knew I signed for. Now this is here's the very interesting part right there, Your Honor. So I was told that the dealer, which is Riyad Mohammed Rada Michi, and he said he gonna fix the brakes and then he gonna call me so I can come pick it up. That didn't happen, Your Honor. What happened was I was given after 1 week later, I was given to this car that now they credit acceptance sued me. So this car that I never signed, I want to show you because there's no signature.
Let me stop you. I can't read that document through the computer. I already said that. You also, in the 30 seconds I just gave you, you absolutely repeated everything you already said, which still bring us back to the point that you're trying to attack the judgment. There was a default judgment that was entered against you back in 2017. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to attack the judgment, you can't do that under the objection.
I apologize.
You got to find another way to do it, okay?
I apologize. I'm not trying to attack, but I'm just saying, like, the Michigan legislature.
You're disputing the judgment. You're saying it's fraud. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if the underlying contract was fraud or not. I know that they got a default judgment because you failed to appear in court after being served. What I do know is that per the court rules, you cannot file an objection to a garnishment to now use that to prove that the case was fraud. You can't do it that way, okay? So I'm denying your objection because it violates the court rules, okay?
But there was, Your Honor, with all due respect, there was given judgment.
Yeah,
I
don't believe you're disrespecting. I think you misunderstand. What you're trying to do violates the court rules. You can't do it that way. So if you have something pending with the Attorney General's office to address your claim that this was fraudulent, then you're going to need to work that out that way. But you can't use the objection for that purpose, especially under the exemption from law selection that you made. Okay.
Okay. I might maybe misunderstood that part, but Your Honor, can you give me more time before you release this money for them, please?
I can't. I cannot give you more time because you haven't provided me any information where I can give you relief under the law. I have to follow the law.
Yes, ma'am.
It can't be. No, that won't help me, because what that looks like is the document that you want me to read that you believe shows that there was some fraud. And
yes,
there may have been some fraud. I don't know, because I didn't even handle the underlying matter. All I know was that there was a default judgment long before I was even a judge on this case. What I can tell you is that if you believe you can prove fraud, you should probably try and do that, but you can't do that with an objection, though. You can't do it here with that.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I want to prove to you. I'm sorry to cut you off. I apologize. I want to prove this to you, Your Honor. This is my first time ever appearing in court, and I don't know how the system goes. You guys know more than me, but I apologize for any inconvenience. But I can show the proof that there's a fraud being made. I can show proof that I did not sign for this car, Your Honor. Okay. I did not sign for this car.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. At this time, I find that per law, your objections are invalid, and so the objections are going to be denied at this time. Okay.
Your Honor, the reason this is my first time ever appealing.
I recognize that. You've told me that multiple times. I recognize that's your first time. That's how you got a default. You didn't appear in court.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't even know I had a court before. That's what I was out of state
personally back in 2016.
Yes, ma'am. But they claimed that they served me, but I was not even in Michigan, Your Honor. Please.
Okay, well, they have a proof of service that's signed by and notarized, actually, that said that you were served personally.
But so I know that's
here. And then once there was a judgment, a default judgment, you would have been notified of a judgment via the mail. We haven't heard from you until they garnished the wages. So you didn't even contact once you were told that there was a judgment. There would have been or should have been noticed you sent years ago that you had a judgment. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This is why I say that, I was not in Michigan at all. This is me right now. Seeing for the first time I've seen this contract. So I know you cannot read it through the computer.
I understand, but I'm not able to help you with what you're trying to do. You're trying to attack the judgment by objecting to a garnishment, and the court rules say you can't do that, okay?
So how can I have a fair trial, Your Honor?
You're not going to a trial on this. You don't have, this is a judgment already. If you want to address what you got going on, you said you're already working with the Attorney General's office. You probably want to get you an attorney if you don't have one, if you're trying to prove some fraud. I think you got an uphill battle against you at this time, okay?
So how can we going to release this money to the individuals that fraud?
You have not provided the court with any valid reason to believe that the garnishment was invalid, and so the objections are invalid, and so the monies were released. Okay,
Your Honor,
to satisfy the judgment.
How can you release the money without you even reviewing the contract? Your
I don't have to read that. I have explained that. I don't have to read that because it has nothing to do with the garnishment. That has to do with what you believe will show that the judgment is invalid, and you can't object to a garnishment and then try to attack the judgment through the objection, is what I'm trying to tell you. And I don't know any other ways for me to explain that to you, sir.
But the whole purpose is starting like that's why I need more time so I can bring an attorney. Your Honor, this is a fraud.
Well, you filed this objection and you knew what you were coming for today. And so we can't delay this so that you can now go find an attorney, just so the attorney can tell you the same thing about the rules of law as it relates to objecting to a garnishment. The court rule is very clear as to how you and when you can object to a garnishment and when the court can grant it and when you and if you can use that to attack a judgment. And when I say attack a judgment, that means you object and you say that the garnishment is invalid because the judgment was fraud. That you can't do that. The court.
Okay, how can I prove that then, Your Honor, please?
I can't give you any legal advice about how you can prove your case, okay, sir?
So they was given a judgment without me being even present at the court.
There was a default judgment because you failed to appear. Correct.
I was not in the state, Your Honor. I apologize about that, but I would like to have a given chance by now so I can show you the proof of me not signing. The proof
there was a statutory time frame whereby you could have appeared after the default and asked to have it set aside, and you could have notified the court and let them know you didn't live there. That never happened. And so we can't come 7 years later and have a trial on a default judgment. The default stands. If you want to prove fraud in another way and pursue the plaintiff in another way, that's your prerogative and you have the right to access the courts in that regard. But you don't have the right to misconstrue the court rules to your benefit at this time. Do you understand that?
No, ma'am. I respect what you're saying, ma'am, but I wish you can review. You see, I'm a victim here. This is what, like, I understand. You know,
I'm not disputing that. I don't know what happened. Nothing actually. There was no trial, so I don't know if you were a victim or not. What I'm telling you is that you cannot do what you're trying to do to prove that you were a victim. Is what I'm telling you.
Okay, how can I prove?
So you need to go get an attorney. You need to go get an attorney and then figure out how to handle it. Okay.
And so after you release the money, how, you know, like, you think that's possible? So if you're releasing the money right now for the individuals that fraud me, so how can I prove
the garnishment? The judgment has been pending for over 7 years at this point. The garnishment was already issued, and you waited until now to even bring this issue before the court. So if a garnishment is released to them, it's because you sat on the judgment for this long.
Yes, ma'am.
So you need.
Your Honor,
under the law.
I was not even in the state, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I recognize that. At this time, I need to move on to another case. I can't keep repeating the same things. Maybe if you hire an attorney, they can explain it better for you, okay?
So can we please hold it for the fund, please? I
can't hold the funds while you go and find legal counsel. I can't do that.
Well, can I show you? At least you don't even have the copy of it.
No, because all that is to show me that you believe that the judgment was fraud. That's what you're trying to show me. You believe that the case was fraud.
I'm not attacking your court, Your Honor. I'm talking about what credit acceptance show you is a fraud.
I don't even know that credit acceptance didn't even show us that. That's not in our file. So that's not. So showing me that's not going to help you.
Day, Your Honor. Your court
showing me that's not going to help you, sir. We're off the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.